If this new 18mm f1.4 lens from Fuji reminds you of a certain other Fuji lens, then we probably share an old friend called the 60mm f1.4. I would say the announcement of this new 18mm is not exactly bombshell, largely due to the fact that our old friend the 16's already been around a while, so perhaps the best way to talk about the new 18 is to compare it against the 16. But this is a somewhat awkward standoff because these are two distinct focal lengths, but they have extremely similar field of views. It's like comparing a full-frame 24mm prime to a 28mm. Well, the 18 is actually a 27mm full-frame equivalent, but consider this blind test for a moment. Would you be able to instantly tell which was shot on the 16mm and which is the 18mm? My point is, your average photographer is not likely to want to own both these lenses for their difference in focal lengths.
Damn, wish I had an 18 right now.
So the numbers are telling you these are two different lenses, but you just know you wouldn't use them too indifferently. These two lenses even look very similar, although there is a slight difference in physical design. The 16's focus ring had a clutch to serve as a manual focus toggle complete with focus markings. The 18 doesn't do that anymore, it's just a plain focus ring now. The aperture ring is still way too easy to turn. Fuji should really start stiffening these up. The 16 does have a slightly larger filter ring, 67 versus 62mm on the 18 1.4, but otherwise they are very similar in terms of size, but they also weigh practically similar. So if anyone was hoping for the new 18 1.4 to be a smaller, lighter alternative to the 16 1.4, that's not really it either. Well, then I'm clearly missing the point here. The 16 is more than half a decade old, so the latest and greatest 18 must have vastly improved image quality then. Well, yes, by a bit. Thing is, the 60mm was already an optically excellent lens. There's just not much to beat in terms of optical performance. That being said, the new 18 does do an excellent job resolving fine detail all across the frame, and it's a lens you can comfortably shoot wide open knowing it can deliver. The most substantial improvement that the 18 has over the 16 is its focusing motor. The 18 uses a far superior linear motor for autofocus, so not only is it virtually inaudible by comparison, it also gives you faster and more reliable autofocus. It's a massive upgrade to the shooting experience in my opinion, and definitely the difference that draws the biggest line between these two lenses. But I actually found it interesting how Fuji intends for these two lenses to coexist in their lineup. The 16 remains in production, so the 18 is more of an addition than a replacement. Then consider the fact that both these lenses share a similar retail price of $999. The 16 has been around for quite a few years now, so it's likely possible to get this at a lower street price, but wouldn't you prefer the 18 with an updated focus motor? It's also possible that the slight difference in focal length is enough of a concern for some photographers, and in this case, choice is an option. As for myself, I shot through the new 18mm exclusively on the X Pro 3 when I brought it with me on a camping trip. It's an extremely pleasant setup to shoot with. This 18mm is a lens that can make you forget that you're shooting on APS-C. It's that combination of very decent bokeh plus a relatively wide field of view. It's a very pleasing look, and I really like the bokeh on this lens. And if you enjoyed this review as much as I enjoyed this lens, maybe you might want to check out my other videos.